Hey, fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I am joined now with Abel Sanchez, trainer to several champions now, Murat Gassiev and Gennady Golovkin. How are you doing? We're here in Sochi, Russia.
Doing well. We're anxiously waiting Saturday night, but everything's going well. The weather has changed again. Now it's bright sunshine outside, so it's fun.
So let's talk a bit about this big fight, unification fight for Murat. It's a big opportunity. Do you think him fighting at home is, there's more pressure for him?
I don't think it's pressure. I think he relishes the fact that his fans and his people, his sister-in-law, his brother will be able to see the fight, his friends will be able to see the fight, his mother. But it's got to be a little hard on him to be able to service all these people while he's here. They seem to understand that he's got a job to do, and he needs to understand that also and not allow those distractions to get in the way of not only preparations but focusing on the task at hand, which is Dorticos.
Right, and it's a very tough fight for him. I mean, so many people are seeing this as a 50-50 fight, really on who lands first or who hurts who hurts someone first. What would you say about Dorticos? Now, I know Gassiev said that he hasn't really studied any tape on him. Have you?
Well, of course, it's a very difficult fight, and I'm sure that here in Russia, he's got to be the favorite. But I mean, in the boxing world, I think that everybody realizes this is a 50-50 fight. Dorticos is a big puncher, so is Murat. It's the guy that's smartest inside the ring, the guy that is able to figure out sequences, and the guy that's able to figure out the other guy. But I think that the biggest concern, in my opinion, in the fight will be who's able to take command of the fight, who's able to dictate the pace. As in last week's fight with Usyk and Briedis, Usyk set a very, very fast pace early in the fight, and I think it tired Briedis out. So I think this fight, that's going to be an issue for the guy that's not in shape to be able to take the pressure or the tempo of the fight.
Now, Dorticos seems to be very calm. I've seen him around the hotel, just, really just hanging back, not really stressing, in my opinion. I know that he says he's very comfortable fighting in other people's backyards. He's been to Russia 6 times and been successful all 6 times. What would you say would you say that he is overlooking Murat? Because I know that he's made comments that he's not really too worried about Gassiev.
No, I don't think he's overlooking Murat. I think that he's a world champion. He's 22-0. He has to be confident. He has to be sure that what he done in the gym is good enough for the battle on Saturday. When they get in the ring and they start their initial approach to see how they're going to fight, we'll see if he's as ready as he appears to be. But don't get me wrong, I think that both guys, I think that this is the type of fight, if nobody is able to land a clean shot, you're looking at a classic fight, because of both guys that like to fight. He's got a great background in the Cuban school. Murat has developed very well in the pros. So it's going to be a problem if Dorticos can't take the pace, and it's going to be a problem if Gassiev can't take the punch. We don't know, because they've never had to work with this issue or have to deal with this issue. But I know that one thing, we're gonna have a great fight on Saturday night.
Who have you sparred with to prepare him for Dorticos?
We had actually 6 different sparring partners. We had at times Iga Skalazi, I think, is a Russian kid that Freddie's got. Latif Coyote we had. Dors, I forget his last name. We had 3 kids one out of Virginia, one out of Texas, one out of Washington. So we had a lot of sparring. We had a lot of quality sparring. I don't like to spar my guys too much. I don't think Gassiev sparred more than 100 rounds for this fight. We do a lot of other work in the gym that prepares us, just like with Golovkin. But obviously we didn't spar against anybody like Dorticos. So once we step into the ring, we're going to find out if what we did was enough.
I've seen a lot of people spar. I've seen a lot of people hit the bag. I've never seen anything quite like what I've seen with Murat Gassiev. He hits extremely hard. Would you say that he's probably maybe even more powerful than Gennady Golovkin?
I think per weight, no. I think Golovkin's hit me the hardest on the mitts and on the body pad. But what Murat has is the difference between him and Golovkin is that Golovkin is a real nice man. Golovkin, You've seen him in fights, say the Martin Murray fight. I'm sorry, the Macklin fight, where Macklin goes off balance and Golovkin steps back and allows Macklin to recompose himself. I think that's the difference with Gassiev. I think Gassiev just wants to hurt you. You know, Gassiev is once he steps, he seems like a real nice, likable guy outside. But once he steps through the ropes, he understands that this is a business. This is very difficult, and you cannot let somebody have an edge. I think that's the difference. But they both hit very hard, and they're both relentless in their pursuit, mental-wise. They want to be in front of you. They want to fight you. So that also is something that's going to take some of the conditioning out of the opponent. That pressure, that always constant being there, tires you out.
Hey, well, I was going to ask you. I mean, when you're doing the pad work, surely you got to go home and feeling really sore sometimes.
You know, I've been a building contractor since I was 18 years old, and I think that hard work prepared my shoulders and prepared my body. I've never had any issues with my shoulders or arms, but it's because of that, but also because we do it under a controlled situation. We're not just throwing punches to throw punches. We throw punches in a way that I can prepare for them and they can prepare for them as they're throwing them. So it's not to hurt each other. But yeah, of course you go home sore. They're big boys.
Yeah. Has Gennady and Murat ever sparred?
They've gotten in the ring messing around, but no, sparring, no. You're talking about 30-pound difference, or no, 40-pound difference.
Yeah.
So no, they've never really sparred, but they've been in the ring together. Golovkin is a kind of teacher in my gym. He takes guys to the side, and sometimes he spars with them just to show them different things. So, but flat-out sparring, no.
Let's talk about Oleksandr Usyk. Should Murat be victorious Saturday night, that will be his next opponent. What do you make of Usyk?
Well, first of all, Usyk and Briedis fought a great fight.
Oh, yeah.
What a great fight. I don't think anybody anticipated or thought that that's the kind of fight they were going to fight. I think that Usyk took a lot of the stamina, a lot of the conditioning out of Briedis in the early first 4 or 5 rounds, because the pace that he set early in the fight tired Briedis out. I thought Usyk won with maybe 4 points. I don't think it was a draw. I don't think it was that close. But I do believe that Usyk is going to present a lot of problems on final night. Murat's going to have to be at his best, because you're talking about an Olympic champion, you're talking about an undefeated world champion also. But we get past Dorticos. I think that Murat's confidence and he's going to be so high on his win that Usyk is just another body in the ring that he's going to have to deal with.
What do you make of the finals being in Jeddah?
That's interesting. I've never been to Saudi Arabia. I'm sure it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of us. But it's good for boxing that we're able to do it worldwide. These guys are world champions. They're not just Ukrainian champions or Russian champions or American champions. They're world champions. They should be fighting all over the world. That's a thing that we tried to do with Golovkin early in his career, to fight him wherever it was possible so that the world could see him. This fight in Saudi Arabia will maybe mark the beginning of something good for a lot of other title fights.
Right.
And if it's the type of fight, a combination of our fight on Saturday night and the last fight, Usyk and Briedis last Saturday, if it's a combination of that and it's a great fight, I think that could be the kind of event that makes them want to bring more entertainment to Saudi Arabia.
Now, former WBC cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew has actually been talking a bit about wanting the winner of the World Boxing Super Series cruiserweight tournament. What do you make of that?
Well, it's unfortunate that that's all he does is talk. He's talked about Fury, he's talked about Hay, he's talked about everybody, but doesn't seem to step into the ring. I hope, for boxing's sake, that the winner of the tournament does fight Bellew, does fight Hay, if Hay's still at cruiserweight, does fight all the guys that are at the top, because I think those are the kind of fights that are entertaining.
Mm-hmm. I know at one point these guys were probably some of the best unknown boxers, but now they're getting the recognition that they deserve. Seeing that now that Tony Bellew's interested in wanting to face one of these guys, what does that say about the World Boxing Super Series as a whole and what it's doing for these guys and their careers? I
think the WBSS has done a tremendous service to the cruiserweight division. The cruiserweight division is a division that nobody really cared about, nobody really thought about. But these 8 fighters in the cruiserweight division in this tournament are the best 8 cruiserweights in the world. Unfortunately, Lebedev didn't want to participate and be part of that. But we have seen fights in this division that you see at middleweight. I mean, really, really exciting fights. Not slow. These guys are very talented. They're very fast. They hit hard, especially like the fight on this Saturday night with us. So I think that is giving us a boost. Hopefully the American public will be able to watch some of these fights. And hopefully it's the finals are shown in the U.S. because if they do, they're going to see 200-pounders fighting like middleweights. And it'll be a big boost not only for the sport of boxing, but for the cruiserweight division.
Hey fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking right here.